When we first get in, we're looking from the back toward the front. This is the joint surface. This is your body on this side. This is your arm over here. This little bit of fraying through here is part of the labrum and some of the soft tissue in the front of the joint. It's not anything to worry about. Dr. Bonner's going to get in there. He's going to clean that up. Some of the pink tissue that you see in the front is all inflammatory tissue. It's not functional. You don't need it. Dr. Bonner cleaned it out. This is part of the rotator cuff in the front. This tendon down through here attaches to the bone here, and you have a little bit of fraying in the tendon, this wispy tissue through here. Dr. Bonner's shaver, he just cleans that up, smooths it down. This is nice, healthy tissue, well attached down to the bone through here.
Okay.
Still working on getting some of this inflammation in the front here. This is all bursitis. All this wispy, fluffy stuff, this pink tissue is inflammatory tissue. Dr. Bonner's shaver again, he's just cleaning out all the unhealthy, inflamed tissue, getting down to the healthy stuff. That is the rotator cuff tendon in the front and well attached to the bone all through here. This is after we have cleaned it all up. So this is the same tendon, well attached to the bone down here. This all looks good. Took all that inflammation out of the front, looks much, much better. Down here, joint surface, nice and healthy cartilage all the way around toward the back of the shoulder. The cartilage is nice and healthy, no arthritis, looks really, really good. Up at the top of the shoulder, that labrum, the soft tissue up there, that's nice and healthy, but you do have a little bit of inflammation around the rotator cuff up there. We're going to clean that up. And then looking at that rotator cuff tissue, you have a little bit of a tear out to the side. That black area, that's a tear all the way through the tendon. This is all tendon. All this white tissue is tendon, well attached to the bone down here in this area and in this area, but through here, we're going to have to fix that tear. Through here, that's that area where the tear is. We're going to reattach this area of the tendon back down to this area of the bone.
Is that where the spur was?
The spur,
Did the spur cause that?
The spur caused this. The spur is out of view in this picture, but it sits above the rotator cuff, and it was digging into the rotator cuff tissue, wearing it down, causing the tear.
Okay.
So Dr. Bonner gets in there with his shaver and cleans out the unhealthy, inflamed tissue. You had some inflammation within the tendon that he took out, and then cleans off the bone, getting ready to put the anchor in. The anchor is a plastic screw down into the bone, and it has suture attached to it. He's going to take the sutures individually, loop them through the edge of the tissue, and tie it down to hold the tendon flat against the bone while it heals. This is the repair on your biceps tendon. This is the biceps tendon in the background here, and this is the groove that it glides through. Dr. Bonner is going to create a hole in the groove, suture the tendon, and then fixate it with a plastic screw down into that hole.
And that's actually like in the front of my arm?
That is in the front, yep.
Okay.
You can see the sutures after the fixation. That's the repair on the biceps. Then back to the rotator cuff. This is the rotator cuff tissue that needs to be attached to the bone right here. You can see through here, this is normal healthy tissue, incorporates all the way down to the bone. But over here, we need to reattach the tendon back down to the bone. So we take those stitches, loop them around the edge of the tendon and tie them down. And that holds the tendon flat against the bone now. We're going to take those stitches and anchor them with another plastic screw off to the side to hold the stitches flat against the tendon, holding it down against the bone so it'll heal. And then the bone spur up at the top of the shoulder. This is the bone spur hidden under soft tissue, but you see that scuffing in the soft tissue?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take off the soft tissue, expose the edge of the bone, and it's this big jagged edge right here, that downward slope,
Wow.
that big hook. It shouldn't be there. It should be flat through here. We're going to take this edge off down here.
Now, what causes those?
So the bone spur is something that it's just the way that the bone developed over time. Instead of developing flat across, it developed with a downward slope. It's not anything you did to cause it. There's not anything you could have done to change the course of it. It's just the way you were made.
Okay.
And then, so after he's done, he's taken it down and now it's flat across. There's no longer that hook there. However, your clavicle sits right next to it. This is the end of the clavicle. This is the edge of the acromion that he has already shaved down. That is your AC joint, and these two bones are just grinding on one another. They're very, very close together, and there's some arthritis in there. And he shaves it down. Go to the next one. He shaves it down. This is now the end of the clavicle. To widen the space between the two bones, this is the edge of the acromion. This is the beginning of the clavicle. Now there's about 1 centimeter of space between the two bones.
Mhm.
So now when you move your shoulder around, they're not going to grind and rub on one another.
Good, because that what was causing that bursitis, or
The bursitis was caused by the bone spur.
okay.
That's gone too. And look from the side down onto your rotator cuff. That's the end result after the repair. You see the stitches. And then this is the rest of the rotator cuff across the front. Nice and healthy tendon. That looks really good. Okay.
Wow,
You had a lot done.
I did. That was so much to take in. I didn't think I was going to be able to remember everything you said. Thank you for following up with that.
Okay.